Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Cooking for the Family. I'm Devon and today I'm going to share with you how to make delicious, moist, yummy chocolate banana bread. This recipe is so good, y'all, and I hope you enjoy it. Those are the ingredients and this is how we put it together. So in my bowl, first I'm going to add all of the dry ingredients. Now this bread comes out so nice and moist, chocolatey flavor. That banana is in there and it is just so good. So we're going to use 1 cup of all-purpose unbleached flour, and then to that we're going to add our leavening, and that is going to be our baking soda, and we're going to be using 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Now, if you are new to my channel, welcome. And if you're a returner, welcome back. And I want to say thank you to all my wonderful, awesome subscribers. I appreciate all of your likes, your shares, your subscribes, your thumbs up, and all the positive comments. I just love the good vibes. And if you haven't become one of my wonderful subscribers, I invite you to hit that subscribe button. It is totally free. Now, once we've added in our baking soda, we're going to put in 1/2 teaspoon of regular table salt, okay? And now once we do that, we're going to add in our cocoa powder. This is the cocoa powder I like to use, but whatever you have on hand or whatever you have in the supermarket that you can find will totally work. But I like to use this Dutch cocoa, and we are going to be putting in, we're going to be putting in 1/2 cup, but we're going to do it in 1/4 cup measurements, okay? And so that is our Dutch cocoa that we're using. And we're putting our chocolate banana bread together in 2 steps. We're going to get together all of our dry ingredients first, and then in our bigger bowl, we're going to do all our wet ingredients, okay? Now, once you have your dry ingredients, and that was the flour, the cocoa powder, the baking soda, and the salt, give it a really good stir. You want to make sure that you've mixed and blended all of those dry ingredients together in our smaller bowl. Then we're going to set this aside and we're going to work on like our slurry that is going to be the base that we're going to use to build that chocolate banana bread. Now, in the description box below, I will have a list of all the ingredients you need to make this yummy chocolate banana bread. In addition to that, in the description box below, I'll also have a link to my vlog on my traditional banana bread as well. Now, we're going to be using 3 ripe bananas. Now, when I choose bananas for either my chocolate banana bread or if I'm making the traditional banana bread, I like to choose medium to large size bananas. And also, you want to have your bananas where there may be about 50 to 60% of the banana is brown. I don't really go beyond 60% of that banana being brown. The reason being is, for me, I have found that if the banana is too brown and if it's too ripe, they start to get really mushy. And in addition to that, the bananas start to take on like a fermented taste. And that really comes through a lot in the baking. And so I kind of avoid that by choosing bananas that are about 50 to 60% with the brown spots on them, okay? Now, in the bowl with the bananas, we have 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, and I also have 1/2 cup of light brown sugar. That light brown sugar in combination with the granulated sugar really gives it a nice, deep, rich flavor, really brings out the chocolatiness of the banana bread, but then it also just has this like little bit of caramel like background, and it just is really good in the banana bread. And so what you want to do is I use my potato masher, and I mash and I mix together the bananas and that brown sugar and granulated sugar, so that way the sugar really starts to dissolve and it really helps the bananas to blend together, and we end up with like this little slurry, but you will also have some chunks of banana in there as well. Now, once we've done this step, what we're going to do next is we're going to put in some vanilla, and this is pure vanilla extract. And always be sure to kind of shake up a little bit of your vanilla extract, because sometimes the vanilla extract in the bottle can sometimes settle. And we're going to put in 1 teaspoon of that vanilla extract. Now, also in addition to this, we're going to add in some vegetable oil, and we're using 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. Now, we're also going to be using some butter as well, and this is also going to be 1/4 of a cup of unsalted butter, and I have it nice and soft. I actually put it in my microwave for a few seconds to really get it nice and soft. Now, the reason to use the butter as well as the oil, the butter is going to give us some really good flavor, but the oil, as well as using the vegetable oil, is also going to help with the moistness and the texture. And the reason being is because cocoa powder is very dry. It's very drying, and so you need something a little extra to really help to boost up that additional moisture. And also your butter, you don't want it to be completely melted, but you do want it to be nice and soft and a little melted like mine was. It's totally fine. Now we're going to put in our 1 beaten egg, and you want to make sure you really beat your egg very thoroughly. And we're going to add that into the rest of our slurry. And the butter that we're using is the unsalted butter. However, if you only have salted butter on hand, you would reduce the amount of salt in the recipe from a 1/2 teaspoon of salt to 1/4 teaspoon of salt. But in the description box below, I will have the notation as a reminder, just in case you're going to be using salted butter when you're putting together your chocolate banana bread. Now we're putting in the dry ingredients, and you want to slowly add the dry ingredients. And I usually do about 1/3 of the dry ingredients of the flour, the cocoa powder, the baking soda, and the salt. Those are all of our dry ingredients. And then I go on and I'm going to add the balance of our dry ingredients, and then you just kind of keep mixing it around just like I'm doing. Now while I'm doing this, I have my oven is preheating on 350 degrees, and we're going to be baking our banana bread, our chocolate banana bread, in a nice sized loaf pan. And it's going to give you about 8 to 10 servings depending on how big or small that you are slicing your pieces. Now when you're mixing your ingredients, you definitely want to go around the sides and go top to bottom until you have totally mixed in all of those dry ingredients. Then we're going to be using our semi-sweet chocolate chips. We're only going to be using, now that was 1 cup, but we're only going to be using 3/4 of that cup. We're going to save the other 1/4 cup, and we're going to sprinkle that on top. Now the loaf pan that I'm using is a 9 by 5 by 3 inches, which is the equivalent to 8 cups. So this is the 8-cup serving size of the loaf pan. Now if you're using a smaller loaf pan, that's usually like to say the 6-cup serving size, your banana bread's going to bake a little bit longer. Okay, the one that I have, the 9 by 5 by 3 inches, it's going to bake anywhere from about 55 to 65 minutes. If you have the smaller loaf pan, your loaf is going to be higher and it's going to bake a little bit longer, so you're probably going to end up baking it for about 70 minutes, maybe up to 75 minutes. But what we're going to do is when we get to about 45-50 minutes of our baking time, you want to test your banana bread, and you want to test it in a couple of different spots just to kind of test for doneness and see where we're at. So we sprinkled our semi-sweet chocolate chips on top. We're going to put in our oven, and while it's baking up, I'm going to clean off the countertop and I'll bring you back. So our chocolate banana bread has baked in our oven for 65 minutes. It smells so good in the kitchen. You can smell that chocolate, the banana. So this is what our chocolate banana bread is looking like. We're going to let it cool here in the pan and on our cooling rack for about 30 minutes, okay? So our banana bread has cooled for about 30 minutes. It's still a little warm on the bottom, but for the most part, it's cool to the touch. We're going to use our little butter knife here, and you just want to go on and release the sides and the edges. Then what I like to do is I like to just take the pan and shake it a bit and really loosen up that bottom before we go to flip out. And you want to make sure that bottom is thoroughly loosened from the pan, and then do it in one quick motion, just like that. And then once you have that, you go on and flip it over. And there we have it. We have our nice, beautiful loaf that we just got out of our pan. It released well. I did have that non-stick spray that I had sprayed ahead of time before we had put our batter in there. This is what it's looking like. We are going to go on and cut ourselves a piece and see how we did. And it is still just slightly warm, and that is nice. That's exactly how I like to serve it, just a little bit warm. And this serves so well with some whipped cream. This serves so well if you just want to have it by itself, if you want to put some fresh strawberries on the side. But will you look at that? Look how our chocolate banana bread has come out. It looks so nice, chocolatey, moist. I'm going to go on and open it up and see here. Can you see those little bits of that banana in there? I want you guys to take a bite right there. That bite's for you. Okay, I'm going to give it a bite and I'm going to see how we did. Y'all, this is so good. That combination of that chocolate and the banana, it is so good. This banana bread with chocolate comes out so moist, so delicious. Oh my goodness. If you want to serve this with a scoop of vanilla ice cream on the plate with it, you want to have yourself a nice cup of coffee or even a glass of milk. Oh my goodness. This, y'all, you have got to give this recipe a try and just enjoy it to the fullest. An added option is you can add a cup of chopped walnuts to this recipe, or either a cup of chopped pecans. That would really send it to the next level. Well, that is it for me today, y'all. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I invite you to hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video, don't forget to show it some love, give it a thumbs up, and click share. And share this video with a friend or a family, and click that notification bell so you never miss a video that I upload from my kitchen. And I thank you again for spending time with me today. And remember, it's always good when Devon is cooking for the family. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.